being heard? Are we being listened to? Do they know our agenda? Because for a very long time, it has been, this is my agenda for you. But are we coming back to hear what Mwananchi is taking as their agenda and go with that to convince that you can implement that which they have prescribed upon themselves?
I think the biggest challenge we've had, I don't like using this word, the people of Kenya, because most of the time we say the Kenyans have said, Kenyans have done this. I think there's a thin line between what is political party manifesto vis-a-vis government programs.
Yes.
And you find many times when political parties assume power, they confuse that government programs that have been running are supposed, like for example, the plan. Probably it was a well-thought idea, but the implementation is being implemented from a political sphere as opposed to a proper government program. And that's why we have things like, for example, Nyota. I don't understand why you would be dishing money to people and not being able to give free education or fund universities, yet you are having programs where people are lining up to collect 25,000?
Yeah.
And I think you could do, so that's where the problem is. I think and I thought probably with ODM merging or whatever broad-based, they would harmonize their manifestos. Because I think even ODM itself, within UDA, within the broad-based, has a manifesto. I don't know whether they have merged their manifesto or it's just the 10-point agendas. So I think we need to depart from political party manifesto to understanding national programs. For now, we are talking about going to Singapore. It was not initially there in the plan, but it has somehow gotten itself now. It's part of what the plan entails. When President Ruto was campaigning, he never told us he's going to take us to Singapore. He had a clear, what they call the plan. But now all this has been overtaken to something now called that now we are going to Singapore, now we are going to have a national infrastructure fund, things that were not there. So I think that once we have that level of confusion, then you realize now, even when they plan, they now get to where they've gotten today with the issue of university funding. And I remember the president having dialogue with university students, and they were discussing at length about the funding models, and some of them raised a lot of issues. I remember the president giving them an assurance that nobody will be left out. But look, is it the president who is not doing the things right, or are people misleading him? And I think it's also high time for the president to look at some of the so many called advisors. Some of them might not be giving him the proper advice, because what happens after 3 years, you come almost to the stretch to the next election, you realize what you are doing was not right, and you need to review it. So I think too many advisors, this is what you get.
I just also